friends, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Stacy and I am the Chapter Conundrum, and today I'm joined by my husband Jake, the bookish drummer, because he has a fun video planned for us. What have you planned?
I'm going to randomly pick, well, not randomly, I've already done it, but I've picked 15 books on our shelves that you have not read.
Okay.
And you're going to be blindfolded, and I'm going to read you the first line of the books, and you're going to give me your initial reaction to them.
Okay.
And some of these books, all of these books you have not read. Most of these books I will say you are interested in reading.
Okay.
Some of them maybe not so.
Oh boy.
So we should get some fun reactions to them, I believe.
Okay, yeah. And I will be blindfolded, so I don't know, hence why my hoodie is on backwards, so I can put the hood over my face.
I tried to pick interesting first lines. I scoured the shelves. Some of these are interesting for different reasons, but I think it'll be fun.
Okay. We're going to noise cancel you.
So you can't hear what I'm saying?
Not very well.
Okay. So put your hood up.
Am I in the way of any of them?
Potentially.
Oh boy. Okay.
Well, we'll see. No peeking.
I'm not peeking. My eyes are closed.
No peeking.
My eyes are closed. I just have to get my earbuds out. How in the heck? There. Oh, there goes one. Ah!
Baby. Ah!
My eyes are closed.
Trying to cheat over here.
I am not. My eyes were closed.
Uh-huh.
It's on video.
It's on camera.
I'm hoping we're still recording.
We're recording. We've been recording for 6.5 minutes.
Okay. Took you that long to get the books?
No, because we were doing the intro stuff, so it probably was more like 4.5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, I guess I'll try to keep the book out of frame because Stacy wants y'all to play along, so hopefully y'all play along with us here.
I just went to go put my hands in my hoodie pocket and realize it's not there.
Because that shit is backwards. All right.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So this isn't like a guessing game, but it would be funny if you guessed any of these. This one, you might be able to guess, maybe, but we'll see. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Calic rounded a rocky stone ridge and stumbled to a stop before the body of a dying thunderclast.
What the heck is a thunderclast? Is that some kind of cloud?
I don't know.
Initial impression is that I'm glad it's like opening with some story points, but it's also opening with description, which makes me question how important description is to this author.
Okay.
Mainly, I just want to know what the heck a thunderclast is.
Well, maybe the author did that intentionally to get your interest piqued for what that is.
What's the second line?
The enormous stone beast lay on its side, rib-like protrusions from its chest broken and cracked.
Okay, so that is interesting, but also very descriptive. So I'm curious, but I'm also not sure if it'll be all-time favorite just based on how much description is in the first couple lines.
Oh boy.
If you don't know, I don't visualize while I read, and so a lot of description is a turnoff for me because it'll make me zone out.
Are you curious about what this book is?
Yes, I am curious about the story here. Like, I'm not saying this would be a dud. I'm just saying I question whether it would be like an all-time favorite. But also, some authors tend to put description like at the very beginning of their book, but they don't carry it throughout. It's definitely fantasy.
Yes. Any guesses on who the author is?
Can you read it again?
Calic rounded a rocky stone ridge and stumbled to a stop before the body of a dying thunderclast. The enormous stone beast lay on its side, rib-like protrusions from its chest broken and cracked.
It's giving John Gwynne, but I don't know.
Well, you might be surprised to learn that this is the prelude to the Stormlight Archive.
Oh, okay.
This is Sanderson.
This does not read like Sanderson so far.
Well, it's the prelude to The Way of Kings.
Okay. Interesting.
And if you've probably heard the first line of the prologue, but the prologue is Seth, son Villano, truthless of Shinovar, wore white on the day he was to kill a king.
Okay, that sounds more like Sanderson.
Well, technically the prelude is first. And that's the first book.
I'm less worried about that one now because I know Sanderson isn't like overly descriptive.
Okay. The first line. I placed my thumb and forefinger on the icy flesh, spreading it taut above the breastbone as Uncle had showed me.
I am intrigued, and I think this will be something darker, which is why I'm intrigued. But this is also a very descriptive first line.
Well, you can have some description.
But that, like, read it again. I'm going to count how many descriptors are in that one.
I placed my thumb and forefinger on the icy flesh, spreading it taut above the breastbone as Uncle has showed me.
Okay, so there's like 2, but it's a very wordy 2.
Any idea what this story could be?
No, but I'm getting the vibe that this is either a young male character or a female character.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I've read this book,
Okay.
but I believe that you're interested in reading it.
Well, it sounds like I should be based on the fact that the opening content has some emotional pull. It sounds like it's going to be a dark book, or that it's not going to shy away from like gritty stuff.
So I'll give you the chapter stuff that happens before the line. It says, Chapter 1, Preliminary Incision, Dr. Jonathan Wadesworth's Laboratory, Highgate, 30 August 1888.
1888. Okay.
That should give you some clue of what this is.
I don't know.
It is Stalking Jack the Ripper
Okay.
by
Carrie
Carrie.
Maniscalco.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I'm intrigued. I'm also, well, okay. I'm less worried about the amount of description now because I know that this has a plot based on reviews and what other people have said.
Okay.
And like I said, my interest is piqued on the fact that we're dealing with some gritty, dark subject matter right away.
Okay. All right. Chapter 1. All things considered, her little sister's funeral is a pretty boring affair.
Oh boy.
It's a funny first line.
Okay. This is giving like thriller or horror maybe? No reaction to that?
I did a reaction, but it's on camera.
Okay. Is it fantasy then?
Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Um,
Or you should
no.
try to you don't have to guess, but like just based off of that one line, like what type of story do you think this is and are you intrigued by it?
I think if it's a fantasy, it's got more contemporary leaning writing, where it's like in a more modern setting. So it's giving me like thriller or horror. I am interested in reading it. I do generally like complex family dynamics in books. And so the fact that she doesn't, or like she's bored at her sister's funeral, or he is bored at his sister's funeral. Did it say?
It says her little sister's
Yeah,
funeral.
her little, okay. So she's bored at her little sister's funeral, which makes me question their relationship dynamic already.
Are you having problems with your hood, dear?
A little bit. It's kind of falling. I am intrigued.
Okay. Well, do you want me to tell you what this is?
Yeah, sure.
Well, first of all, it's not thriller or horror or fantasy.
Oh boy.
It's actually a romance, believe it or not. It's called How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong.
Okay. Well, it's not giving romance based on the first line, but I will say some of my favorite romance books have complex issues in the character backstories, and that's when you really get to like feel out their insecurities that they bring into a relationship and see how the couple work those out. And those kind of aspects to a romance are always interesting for me. So that already makes me feel like this is promising.
Okay. Today is the anniversary of Little Girl with Popsicle.
Okay. Anniversary as in like birthday or like something else?
I don't know. I haven't read this book.
Huh.
And you haven't either.
Okay. Well, this line isn't doing much for me yet. I guess I'm not that intrigued about the girl with the popsicle.
Do you want the next line?
Sure.
Or really just the first paragraph because it's short.
Okay.
Today is the anniversary of Little Girl with Popsicle. It happened by the lake 11 years ago. She was there, and then she wasn't. So it's already a bad day when I discovered that there is a murderer among us.
Okay, that's a lot more intriguing. Because basically that's giving me the impression like this character witnessed another character disappearance or death or murder, something in that realm, which is giving thriller or horror. My eyes are closed. It's fine.
Why can't you just pull your hoodie like all the way back?
Because then I can't breathe. It's hot in here, okay?
I know.
And when I inhale, it's going up my nose. There's a double layer to this thing, too.
Oh, boy.
Why do Canadian hoodies have to be so thick? Anyway, back to the book.
So,
I am intrigued. I wasn't really that intrigued by the first line, but when you continued on to the first paragraph, I got more intrigued.
do you want to know what this book is?
Well, first of all, let me just say I usually enjoy unpacking character experiences when a character is reacting to them. And so for that reason, I feel like this book is already going to be decent for me.
Do you want to know what the book is?
Yes.
So you are on the right track. It is a thriller or horror book. And it's a book that we're scheduled to read next year.
Ooh, does that mean it's a John Mars book?
No.
Is it a thrill, chill, or kill book?
Yes.
How many of those do we own for next year?
Physically.
I don't know how many of those we even own. Why am I blanking on like every book we picked?
I'll just go ahead and tell you. It's the Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward.
Okay.
So I've heard very weird things about this, and that is a very weird first line.
I didn't think it was very weird.
I mean, so the way it's written, today is the anniversary of, and then Little Girl with Popsicle is all capitalized. So you're like, this is an event for this person.
Well, yeah.
So I just thought that was weird.
Okay.
Chapter 1. They say that an ounce of blood is worth more than a pound of friendship.
Ooh. Okay.
You like that?
Yes.
What's that? What's this first line giving you here?
Giving me interesting magic and betrayal in a friendship.
Okay. Why interesting magic?
Well, if an ounce of blood is worth something, that probably means it's related to the magic system in this book. Either that or it's a metaphor for, like, revenge is worth it, which also has me curious. So either it's going to tie into an interesting magic system, which I'm going to be excited about, or it's going to tie into a revenge story, which I'm also going to be excited about.
Okay. So, do you think this is fantasy?
Yes. Or fantasy romance.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Yes.
We were actually just discussing this book a little while ago.
Okay.
It's Swords and Scoundrels.
Ooh.
By Julia Knight.
Okay. Nice.
So it could be a potential revenge story.
Even better. So this one is curious because it has such an interesting synopsis, and I think I'm going to like it based on that. But then the Goodreads rating is like 3.25. So like I want to try it because I own it and it sounds like it's going to be good. But I'm going to have such low expectations going in.
Okay. You ready for your next line?
Yes.
Part 1, Chapter 1. On an exceptionally hot evening early in July, a young man came out of the garret in which he lodged in S Place and walked slowly as though in hesitation towards K Bridge.
Okay, there's way too much description there. All I'm getting is there's a guy walking towards a bridge.
Well,
why is that interesting so far? I don't know.
So you're not liking this first line?
Not yet. What's next?
You want the next line?
Yeah.
Okay. He had successfully avoided meeting his landlady on the staircase.
Okay, getting more interesting. So there's a reason he's avoiding his landlady.
His garret was under the roof of a high 5-storied house and was more like a cupboard than a room.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to read.
Okay. Yeah, this one, kind of mixed, has the potential to be interesting, but there's nothing in that beginning that's, like, sparking my, like, excitement radar, if you will.
Okay. I definitely picked this book because it just did not sound like a first line that you would enjoy.
Well, there you go. You did a good job.
Any idea what this story is? What genre?
It sounds thriller, but I could be wrong.
Are you curious of what it is?
Yeah.
It's Crime and Punishment.
Oh, boy.
By whatever this author's name is.
Why do we own a copy of Crime and Punishment?
I will eventually read it.
I thought this was supposed to be books that I'm interested in.
Most of these are, but I threw in a couple wild card picks.
Well, that was... There's a reason I'm not into it.
I know. All right. You ready for your next one?
Yep.
I promise this one will be less nuggety.
Mm-hmm.
Prologue. It takes me 2 weeks to die, locked in my own dungeon.
Oh. Why are they locked in their own dungeon?
Well.
Interesting.
So it sounds like you're intrigued.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but then also, if this character's dead, because it takes them 2 weeks to die, but they're still narrating, we're either going to have resurrection stuff, or like a narrator who's already dead. And it's concerning me a little bit that it's not in the past tense. So either I'm going to question whether there are high stakes here, because obviously he either didn't die or came back to life somehow, or there's just something weird going on.
Very over analyzing this line.
Well, that's what I'm getting, okay?
Okay. So you do like it, but you're also questioning it. So what?
I'm questioning if it's going to have high stakes, which means I'm not sure I'm going to love it.
What genre do you think this is?
I'm going to say fantasy, but it could be horror.
Okay. Maybe the next line will help you a bit.
Okay.
So, it takes me 2 weeks to die, locked in my own dungeon. Not for lack of trying on my part, mind, but orders have come down from the Dark Lord that the princess isn't allowed to pop off early.
Okay, this is definitely fantasy. Or like lit RPG.
Do I know what it is?
Yeah.
It's called How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexler.
I'm excited to read this book.
Okay. Do you think it has a good first line?
What was the first line again?
I just read it. That's the whole point.
Well, yeah, but like refresh me so I have more concise thoughts. Something it takes me 2 weeks to die.
You just said it.
Okay.
It takes me 2 weeks to die, locked in my own dungeon.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm less concerned because originally I was like, okay, there's something chintzy going on here with the stakes. But if they're trying to become the Dark Lord, there might be some more to, like, why they're trying to die. And not just, like, oh, this person died and was resurrected. So, like, that immediately, paired with the title, makes them more interesting for me.
Okay. Those old cows knew trouble was coming before we did.
Is this a historical fiction or, like, Western?
You're not... You're like halfway there, kind of.
Okay.
What is this first line giving you?
That there's an imminent disaster, which is interesting, but also I feel like there could be more interesting ways to open that up.
Any idea what genre this might be?
No, but I will say, like, the choice to talk about how the cows sensed it feels just like a very detached emotionally narration. And so I'm questioning whether it would be like a 5-star read for me based on that. Because usually in books, if there's something tough happening I like it when we get emotional with the characters about their experience. And for this character to be narrating, like, oh, the cows sensed it, like, that just doesn't seem very personal. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Genre-wise, it could be so many things. But it's not fantasy, I'll tell you that much. And it's not sci-fi either.
Correct.
And I don't think it's romance.
Correct.
Okay, so that leaves... I mean, it was immediately giving, like, historical fiction or, like, memoir or Western.
Okay. It's one of those.
Okay, well, it's memoir then? Because you said historical fiction and Western were halfway there.
So on here, under the title, it says a true life novel.
Okay.
Which probably means a novel, like, heavily inspired by true life events.
Okay, what is this?
You've read this author before.
Is this Half-Bro Courses?
Yes.
Okay, this makes me less concerned because I've read The Glass Castle, which is this author's memoir. Half-Bro Courses is supposed to be based on the true events of her grandparents' story.
Okay.
And so it kind of makes sense, like, if she's telling her grandparents' story, to open it more detached and then get more emotional later on as we learn more about them.
Okay.
But I'm still not sure I'm going to love it.
Okay, so not the best first line out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want your next first line?
Yes, please.
Part 1 is called Bronze Walls. Chapter 1, Knives.
Knives, that's it?
That's the first line.
Okay, give me a second line.
Knives everywhere.
Knives everywhere?
Yep.
Okay.
And
well, this novel has some stakes going on, clearly.
I'll read you the first 3 lines.
No, hang on. I have things to say.
Okay.
We're straight to the point, which I like. We have stakes, which I also like. And I'm questioning why there are knives everywhere, so I'm already interested.
Okay.
So already I'm giving this a thumbs up.
Well, I can tell you it's a book that you're interested in reading.
Okay, well, that's a good thing.
What do you think this is? Or what genre do you think this is?
It's giving assassin fantasy, but I don't know how many of those I have that I haven't read yet.
Okay.
Is this like Night Angel Nemesis?
No.
Okay. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's straight to the point and there's stakes and I'm already intrigued.
Well, what books do you have that could possibly be about knives?
I mean, it could be so many things. Is it fantasy, first of all?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I have several Deadly Competition games. Books, it could be any of those. It could be assassin fantasy, like I said. I don't know, I need more.
Do you want to just tell you what it is?
No, what color is the cover?
It's mostly white, but it's got, like shades of, I don't know, I guess brown and yellow and red and mixed in there a little bit.
And you said the heading was the Bronze Wall?
No, that's just part 1.
Okay.
It says part 1, Bronze Walls. And then it goes to chapter 1.
Is this, what's it called? The desert fantasy, that's book of the month with like, what is it?
I don't think it's that, whatever you're describing.
Whatever I'm thinking of, it's like...
It's not on that shelf.
Okay. Then no.
Would it help if I told you it was on this shelf?
No, because I don't know what shelf that is. Is this the shelf with Sharakai?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Huh. Those are mostly your books.
This is just turning into a guessing game, and I'm loving this.
Oh boy. Is this like a regular paperback or a mass market?
It's a regular paperback.
Okay.
Just think about like books like.
Is this Bone Chips?
It involves knives. You know that much.
Okay.
Knives.
I'm thinking Bone Chips, but I could be wrong.
It's not Bone Chips.
Okay, I don't know. Just tell me.
It's the Court of Broken Knives.
Oh. I don't think of that cover as being white, but I guess it is. I think
Well,
more of like gray and black.
what do y'all think? It's white.
I mean, there's white on it. But like, I guess, I don't know. The spine isn't that white, I don't think.
The spine is pretty white.
Okay, maybe I don't know. I just remember gray, but I could be wrong.
All right. You ready for your next line?
Yeah.
All right. 1. Lest anyone should suppose that I am a cuckoo's child, got on the wrong side of the blanket by lusty peasant stock, and sold into indenture in a short fallen season, I may say that I am house-born and reared in the night court proper, for all the good it did me.
I don't know what this is, but I'm not reading it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Would it help if I told you that you are interested in this book?
Why am I interested in this book?
I don't know.
This is giving like classic, like old writing.
I mean, it's not that old.
Okay, read it to me again.
Lest anyone should suppose that I am a cuckoo's child, got on the wrong side of the blanket by lusty peasant stock, and sold into indenture in a short fallen season, I must say that I am house-born and reared in the night court proper, for all the good it did me.
The only thing in there that's intriguing to me is night court.
Well, not only do you own this book, but you own several books in this series.
Oh boy. Is this gonna be one of those things where like this is an excerpt and then you get to like the real stuff?
No, this is the actual first line.
I'm questioning all of my choices right now.
I thought this would be a good contrast to a lot of the ones that I picked.
Okay. What the heck is this?
Well, it's, first of all, it is, I'll just tell you what it is. It's Kushiel's Dart.
Okay, that makes more sense because I was like, this is giving classic, but that came out like 2003, I think. So,
2001.
okay, it shouldn't sound as old as it is.
Well, some fantasy authors like in the 90s and early 2000s were still writing like that.
Well, I don't like it.
Well, that's the first line, and you do own a couple of the books.
I
so.
do own the trilogies. I have the mass market paperbacks, and I found them all used. And I was intrigued because I've heard people say that this series like loosely inspires fantasy romance as a genre. And I know that it doesn't like involve more romance.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I feel like if I can get hooked by something in the plot, I have the potential to enjoy this. But straight off the bat, the writing is like not my preference.
Okay. Would you like your next first line?
Yes.
You know your day is going swimmingly when you've been projectile vomited on and someone stole your Greek yogurt from the staff room refrigerator.
Okay. I like it. A character who's reacting to things.
Any idea what genre this is or even what book this is?
I'm thinking like thriller or contemporary. Or it could be romance. But I'm interested.
Okay.
Because we have a character who's not afraid to say that they're having a hard time and do so in a funny, amusing way.
I also read the second line and it makes it even better.
What's the second line?
So, you know your day is going swimmingly when you've been projectile vomited on and someone stole your Greek yogurt from the staff room refrigerator. And it's only 7 in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Do you want to know what this is?
Yeah, what is this?
It's X's and O's by Amy Leo.
Okay, so contemporary romance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like that first line?
I do, though it does kind of concern me now knowing that this is contemporary romance, because pair that with projectile vomiting and you're probably dealing with children. So like, is this going to be a romance featuring a parent with a young child?
It could
Is
be.
this going to be a romance featuring an auntie or like a nanny?
Well, it could be a pet.
Projectile vomiting says baby.
Well, maybe she's got a baby. I don't know.
But I mean, I don't know. It could be interesting, but it has to be, okay, here's the thing. I don't mind reading about that, and I think it's cool that that would be involved in a contemporary romance. My concern is that would be like the only issue that this person has going into a romance. Be like, oh, I'm a mom. Is this person gonna accept?
Well,
You know.
the book is called X's and O's, so it
Yeah.
could involve having a baby with an X.
Yeah.
Dealing with that.
Okay.
You never know.
It could be great, but it could also be harping on one issue the whole time, and I'm not sure which it's gonna be.
Okay, you ready for your next one?
Yes.
Chapter 1. After the war, we came home.
Ooh, okay. I am intrigued because I like stories that include trauma from events. And I'm hoping that it's so hard to judge from that because I don't know about the writing style. Like, are we going to read and find out why this war happened? What led up to it? What, you know, are we going to care about the deaths that happened in this war? Assumedly, like, are we going to get enough nuance? But I do like that this is straight to the point. What's the second line?
I don't know. Let's see. After the war, we came home. 65,000 battle-shocked trained killers came home to no jobs, no food, and the plague.
Oh boy. That I'm interested immediately.
Okay, so you like this first few lines?
Yes.
Any idea what genre or book this is?
I'm kind of wondering if this is the Lost War.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
But it is fantasy.
Okay. Well, I immediately, war says military fantasy or historical.
So I will give you a clue. I have read this book.
Okay.
Any guesses?
No.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, sure.
It's Priest of Bones, the
Okay.
first book in the War for the Rose Throne
Right.
quartet by Peter McLean.
I should have gathered that there was a war important to that series given the series title.
All these books are about to fall over.
Oh no.
Okay, there we go. All right. So you like that first line?
Yeah, it's decent. I'm intrigued.
All right. We have 3 books left.
Okay.
We've only been filming for less than 40 minutes. I'm sure you'll have a fun time editing this.
Well, I'm hot.
Well, you are hot. We agree about that.
My eyes are closed. Don't worry. I just need a breather.
Ah!
My eyes are closed.
No
I'm not
cheating.
Whew, I'm sure I have a fun case of hood hair.
No
Okay.
cheating. All right. So this one is interesting because the prologue is only 2 lines. So
Okay.
I'm going to read you both of them. The first arrow hit a child. That was the opening line.
Was the opening line like part of the text or just something you said?
No, yes, that's the 2 sentences. The first arrow hit a child. That was the opening line.
Well, the first line is great, but the fact that it's written down as that's the opening line is like,
So
are we
that's-
going to be detached from this story? Is this like about a writer?
So I'm going to just show the audience. That's literally like the first 2 lines of the prologue, and that's all the prologue is. And it's just blank space, and then it moves on to chapter 1.
Okay, what's the first line of chapter 1?
They named La Vera after a weed.
Okay. Kind of lukewarm on this one.
Any idea what this could be?
Well, it's fantasy for sure with an arrow.
Okay. Any idea what subgenre or author, anything?
If I had to guess, I would say military fantasy.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Would you like me to tell you?
Yeah.
It's The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence.
Okay. I'm less worried now. Because
You keep saying that. Like, oh, I don't know about this line. And then I tell you the author. Like, oh, I'm not worried.
Because it's Mark Lawrence, and I've read some of his books, and I know he has real stakes and real character emotion.
Okay.
And, like, the first line about, like, oh, this character was born or whatever, I was like, okay, yeah. But knowing that it's Mark Lawrence, it makes sense, because he's somebody who likes to dig into a character backstory and give you a nuanced arc. And it's usually enjoyable. So, like I said, I'm less worried now.
Okay. All right. You ready for your next line?
Yes.
Okay. When the moon rose in the 3rd northern hall, I went to the 9th vestibule to witness the joining of 3 tides.
Okay. Meh.
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 That's all you're gonna give me?
Too descriptive.
Anything else about this?
Well, there's all these like world specific terms, and you have no context for what any of these mean yet. And so I'm probably not going to care until I read enough to get context for what this means for the character's situation.
Okay. Any ideas what genre or...
Oh, it's fantasy.
Okay, any book, maybe?
No idea.
Okay. Anything else about this line that it's thrown out about you?
It's not enough context for the story, and it's too descriptive.
Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah, tell me what it is.
It's Piranesi.
Oh. Well, that makes sense right away. I'm perfectly valid for not wanting to read that then.
Oh, it's so good.
No, not for me.
All right, and then I had to throw that in because I thought it would be a good reaction.
Well, I was totally right in saying there's not enough context for anything, because everyone says you go into that book super confused.
Yes.
And that is not how I like to read my fantasy.
This line. Santa Claus. ...
Is this Brom?
Yep.
I knew it.
It's Krampus. Good holiday book for the family.
Yeah. Okay, give me more than just Santa Claus.
That's the first line.
Well, what's the second line?
How vile your name upon my tongue.
Okay, that makes it more interesting. Because Santa Claus in and of itself is like, okay.
I thought that'd be a dead giveaway and be funny.
Well, obviously I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there were other options. Like, I have a contemporary romance up here somewhere that's called Holiday Romance.
It didn't have
That
a good
could have been
it didn't have a
Santa.
good first line.
Oh, you looked?
I looked at a bunch of books, okay?
Okay.
But yeah, so that's those were 15.
Wait. I have things to say about that one.
Okay. Take over.
I like that we're taking something that's traditionally loved and spinning it the opposite way to say, like, oh, this isn't a good thing. And I always like when books kind of take the time to develop why it's not a good thing and kind of like try and sway you maybe. Or like, even if it's not realistic to like the real world, it's fun to see what characters do with that. And I always like when a book and an author can kind of slowly change your mind on something. And so I'm intrigued about it for that reason.
Okay.
Is that the last book?
I told you that's the last book.
It's hot in there.
Yeah, remember when we did this with the first line challenge and I had to wear that for an hour?
Listen, mine's from Canada.
Oh, okay.
Look at this. It's got the lining.
Oh, the lining.
And it's thick.
Yeah.
It's thick.
When I did it, it was also hot, and we did it in the summer. So, yeah. Now you know my pain.
Why did I pick a double-lined sweater for this?
Because you wanted a design on the hoodie for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's better than just seeing a blank color, I suppose.
Okay. Well, anyway, so those were 15 first lines that I read to you to get your initial reactions. Some of them are for books that you're clearly excited for. Some of them, not so much, which I thought was fun.
Yeah.
What would you think?
I thought it was fun that sometimes I was like spot on in my initial impressions. Like once you told me what it is, I was like, oh yeah, that's the justification for like why I'm not interested in this. And I know that that continues throughout the book from what I've heard. So it's interesting that like sometimes I'm spot on, because this is funny about me, but I rarely DNF books. And I think being a plot reader, it's a difficult choice to DNF for me, because I'm always thinking, okay, but what if it gets more interesting? What if it picks up? But I really need to just lean into my instincts more and say, okay, if I'm not enjoying this, I need to just stop, right? So like this experience is kind of like reaffirming for me that like I am a bit more intuitive about my own reading and my own tastes, and I should kind of lean into that.
What, if you can remember, do you have a favorite first line out of all of these books, or a least favorite first line?
Well, my least favorite is probably Piranesi, which tracks, because
Yeah.
multiple people have said this is not a Stacy book.
So I'll show you how it works on the first page. So like it's got that thing, but then that's literally how the first line starts too.
Okay. So it repeats itself and still doesn't give you any more information. Like, just what a waste of time.
Oh boy.
No.
Yeah, I'm going through the books here. You let me know.
Well, I knew right away Crime and Punishment was not it either.
Oh yeah. You liked Priest of Bones.
I did, yes.
I like that one. X's and O's. You also really didn't like Cushiel Start, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, but this is one, like, I know that this is mostly like epic political fantasy and that our main character is a spy. So I know there's going to be political intrigue in here. And I know that there's going to be exciting plot. It's just, can I get past the writing style enough to get me invested in that plot? Or should I just give up on this altogether?
I also thought that this one was funny because you kept thinking it was a thriller or a horror book.
Well, I mean, you're opening with a funeral and a character that doesn't, feel particularly attached to their sister. What would you have guessed? You wouldn't have guessed romance.
You also liked this one.
Yes, I did. But I don't know if that was my favorite.
Well, and then Knives. You liked
Knives. I liked Knives. I'm surprised, though, at that one because I've heard that Anna Smith Spark has interesting writing, or kind of she has put a lot of thought into her prose, and that to me read very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
And those two things in my mind don't usually mesh or go together, so I'm very curious to kind of figure that out.
You also liked this first line.
Yes, I did. That might be my favorite first line, which is wild because it's got a 3.25 rating on Goodreads. I need to just read this at some point and just figure out, are all the people wrong? Or is this just very niche to me?
Or does it have a very bad ending?
Yeah, I mean, it could just start great and fall off a cliff too. Who knows? But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Any other thoughts on any of these first lines?
What did you think?
I thought this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I tried to pick out books that I knew you were interested in, but I also wanted to throw in some wild cards just to get your honest reactions.
Well, you got them. You got them.
Yeah. But yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to do it again?
How about I do it for you?
Okay.
But yes, I'd be willing to do it again.
Okay, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I also tried to stick to first books in series.
Well, yeah, you can't spoil a series or potentially spoil a series for somebody.
I also thought about maybe picking a later book in a series for you, but I was like,
no, because then it could have spoilers for something.
In the first line.
Yeah, if you read the first line of Dresden 12, that is a massive spoiler. Massive!
Yeah, I guess. But we don't own that book.
I'm just saying.
I also thought about maybe picking a King book, but I was like, it's your channel. We won't have King in here.
Well, I mean, you could have. I would have given you my honest take.
Yeah. You probably, the way that King writes, you might have been able to tell.
Let's just grab a random one. Grab...
Oh, I don't know if that's a good one to do.
Well, grab Dreamcatcher.
I think I know what the first line is, if I remember.
Well, if I can get to the dang first line. We have all these headlines.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, it became their motto, and Jonesy couldn't for the life of him remember which of them started saying it first.
Okay, yeah, I thought the first line was the title of... I thought it was this. But that's the title of the first chapter, so that's close enough.
Okay, well, I mean, either way, the first line of this is giving me, character work is important to this person. And
then, can I swear on your channel?
I don't care. I'm not monetized.
Okay, the next few lines. Payback's a bitch. That was his. Fuck me, Freddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's King. Very character focused from start and not afraid to just say things.
If we do this for me, I'd be very interested to see what you picked for me, and if I'm able to be as articulate as you were. You were very articulate.
See, I can be analytical, just not when I'm reviewing a book, apparently.
Yeah, you'll just have to do reviews just on the first line.
Yeah, okay.
10-minute video on the first line.
This is too descriptive and I don't like it. So let us know down below in the comments, did you have similar reactions to any of these first lines that I did?
Were you able to guess any of these books? And probably for your Sanderson fans, maybe you were able to guess Way of Kings.
Oh yeah, that's probably gonna be, everyone's gonna know. Except for me, because I haven't read it yet.
You need to rectify that.
I will eventually. Maybe 2025 is the year. I've been saying every year since 2020 that I'm gonna read Stormlight this year, and it still hasn't happened, so I don't know. It'll happen when it happens.
Oh boy.
Also, let us know in the comments if you had fun watching my reactions to these lines or not, and if you thought I had valid points, or if you thought I was kind of off the mark. Just definitely, like, let me know what your impressions were watching this, because I think it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe on your way out if you want to, and have a great day. Bye!